Welcome back to Color Class. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And today we are going to be diving into winter color analysis. We're going to be talking hair, eye, skin tone, best colors for you versus other seasons. So if you are somebody that's like, am I a spring, am I a winter? We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to be talking about how it splits up into 3 characteristics in the 12 palette system, how it splits up into 4 characteristics in the 16 palette system. We're going through it all today and breaking it down.
And I'm going to tell you a secret, a deep, dark secret of Sarah's.
Ooh.
She secretly wants to be a winter.
I do love winter colors.
Yes, she does. Deep inside. I mean, she loves being in autumn. I love being a summer. But she has winter envy so bad. I'm just telling people.
Those rich, bold colors. Oh, I love
tones.
them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, reason I'm not a winter is because my hair has warm tones to it. So if you think you might be a winter, you will not have any red or gold hair whatsoever.
Not a bit.
Oh, you know what? We lied. Because winters,
depends on the red.
Yes, winters can have burgundy plum hair. So if your hair leans a little on the purple side.
Like if you dyed it or you went red, but you went a cool red, like the burgundy, the plum, like Sharon Osbourne.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Right, before she went gray. So burgundy plum hair is considered winter, but other winter colors, black,
of course,
no red or gold in there.
That blue, that reflection that's kind of blue.
Cool, deep brown.
Yes.
So you can have brown hair.
Absolutely.
It just needs to be cool and deep.
Yeah, not red or gold. And we're going to show you some celebrities who have beautiful brown hair, not red or gold, and they're winters.
Right. And then also a medium to deep ash brown could be considered. It needs to be on the darker side. And I don't want to say you're probably not a typical winter. If you have ash brown, you probably fall into one of the 3 subcategories, like a
3
soft,
or 4.
Right, like a soft winter.
That's one of the 4. Yeah.
So you might not
You
fall.
could be a cool winter with that.
Yes, you can.
We'll talk about that in a second. We don't want to confuse anybody, but
yes.
But medium, ash brown, salt and pepper.
Perfect.
We do need to talk about salt and pepper because if your hair is, if you look at the salt and you look at the pepper, if your hair is 65% pepper with some salt, you're a winter.
And when we say salt, we mean
White.
salt. Yes,
White.
It is pure white streaks and pure black.
And there's a reason for that because winter, we'll talk a lot about the high contrast in the winter palette. Well, part of that contrast when you're salt and pepper is pure black, pure white in your hair. Not what you see in my hair, which is the ultimate result of having that color hair. She's my child. I'm her mom. So I had that hair first. Then I had her when I was 38 years old. So now I am 68 years old. She's a young, beautiful 30. And now my hair looks like this. But if you dig around in my hair, you will still find that color. 1 strand, 2 strands, once in a while strands. But it's mostly cool. When you get to be grayish like me, no salt, no pepper,
Right.
just kind of a grayish blend, soft thing happening, you're probably a summer.
Right, because you're soft. Now, lastly, pure white hair.
Pure.
Because it's high contrast. Again, that is a whole, that's the top of the contrast level that we need to take into consideration because it's not ishy hair. It's not whitish. We're talking pure white.
Right. And you'll often hear, well, if your hair is light and cool, then you're probably a summer. There are all sorts of exceptions to that, really. And there is nothing lighter than pure white. But typically with the pure white hair, you'll still see dark brows. Did you know that?
Yeah, because if you think also if you're a blonde that strips and bleaches hair, your hair or somebody's hair, you're going to have that very white hair, dark brows. So what does that do?
Contrast.
Again, you're back to having high versus low contrast all over yourself. So,
All over yourself. It's all over yourself.
all over your face. Now, that's kind of the gist of winter hair colors.
Yes.
And we are going to dive a little bit deeper because you're probably like, well, what if, I'm this ash brown that we talked about earlier? That could put you in a subcategory, and you might not find all of the winter colors to be flattering on you. But we'll talk about that in a second. Next, we're going to talk about eye colors.
Why not? Now, when we get into eye colors, I do want to mention that there's a lot of latitude. And sometimes there is difficulty determining whether for example, a deep brown eye can be a winter eye. But a deep brown eye with a lot of warmth in it, with caramel in it, caramel striation, some gold in it, that can be an autumn eye. So what you look for in the deep brown eye is almost a reddish cast.
Yeah.
Does that seem right to you?
Right.
You not a golden cast and not an orange cast, but that deep brown eye almost has a red cast to it when you look really deep into the eye. And that would be a winter eye. A cool gray eye, sometimes that's a winter eye. And it's got icy, it's sharp.
Light gray.
Yeah, but it's got this sharp, icy quality, almost like little ice, almost like
sickles.
Yeah, like little ice pieces, in the eye, because it's high contrast.
Right.
It's white, that icy striations, and the cool gray.
Yes.
Icy blue can be a winter color, but again, with the winters, you almost see the areola around the iris of the eye. That tends to be a little bit darker than with the women, men, people, whomever. If you've got an icy blue eye, there are a couple ways you can go. You could be a summer or you could be a winter, but that iris on the icy blue is a lot softer generally on the summer, and on the winter it's got that sort of steely undertone to it, and around the iris of the eye is deeper.
Now, backing that up a little bit, are we sure the area around the eye is called an areola before I publish this video?
Better check.
It is called the areola. The areola of the eye is the colored part of the iris that surrounds the pupil.
I'm not an idiot.
Oh my goodness. All right. It can also refer to what we're all thinking. All right.
I got nothing.
Well, not only are you learning color analysis, you're learning
anatomy.
There we go. All right.
The rim of the iris, or the areola, is deep.
All right. Had to pause for a moment. Now we're back. So we did deep brown, cool gray, icy blue. Did we do
cool blue, which we're gonna call cool blue the deep navy or a sapphire tone. Now those people who have the deep navy or the sapphire tone.
Oh yes.
That's a different and cool hazel, because everybody normally thinks of hazel is green or brown or gold or something like this, but this is, we have hazel eyes, believe it or not. Look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up. I'm
right.
Yeah. Our hazel eyes have a grayish cast to them. They're blue, kind of bluish, greenish, grayish.
Right.
Now, if they were strictly bluish and grayish and didn't have as much green as our eyes do, that could be a winter eye.
Yes. But since ours can shift green, that means they have more yellow in them.
And they do. We have the gold striations, like sunbursts in our eye.
And lastly, black eyes are the other one. Super deep, super rich eye colors. That also falls into the winter category.
But it falls into the deep winter, and we're going to get into the divisions, the subcategories in the winter category or in the winter season in a bit. The thing about black eyes is it is very difficult to tell the difference between the pupil and the iris with this color we're talking about with the black eye.
Now, before we do that, we are going to get into skin tone. Now, skin tone.
Whitest white to deepest black. That's the way that I always look at it.
I shouldn't even say it's tricky. It can range so much. I know a lot of people talk about self-tanning. So that's another thing. If you self-tan or if your skin tans, you can still be a winter if you have like the jet black hair. We did a whole video on like blended seasons. Say you have the jet black hair, but also you tan for the summertime, and
Or you can self-tan all year round,
right,
like Megan Fox.
Right. You self-tan, you have really golden skin, or you just have deeper, richer, warmer skin tone. That becomes a little bit tricky, and I am going to link a blended seasons video for you guys.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Right, if you're in between, if you're like, okay, I hit the hair color perfectly, but I'm a warm skin tone girly, use that video, because when we talk four seasons is not a very inclusive system, because we keep talking about, oh, we're going to break it down into 3 more categories and 4 more categories depending on different palettes.
That's where you get the
right, because when we talk winter, you need to hit like the cool hair, cool eyes, cool skin tone spectrum, and a lot of people don't. A majority of the world doesn't, because if you think about a majority of the world, we're talking warmer skin tone, cooler hair, black hair.
And that's a true winter.
Right.
Remember, when we talk the 4 seasons, when we talk the 4 seasons, we're talking about 4 buckets where every human being on the face of the earth has to be dropped into one of 4 buckets in order to get their palate supposedly right. What we know for a fact is that the human beings on the face of this earth do not fit into 4 buckets. And truth be known, I mean, we work in 16 seasons. They don't even fit into the 16 palette system, because there are such a broad variety of us, and we all look different in our hair and our skin and our eyes. It's just, it's magic. It's there's so much,
there's
so
an
many
infinite combination.
Thank you.
Right, of skin tone, of hair color, of eye color, of all of the different features. And now that we can adjust everything about us, our hair color, our brow color, our eye color, now that you can adjust your eye color.
Iris of your eye can be tattooed to be a color. That just, we did a video on that. It's somewhere in there. Freaks me out.
And the fact that you can self-tan and in a couple hours you look tan. I mean, there are so many different combinations, including makeup. You can go from cool, neutral to warm instantly.
And one thing I want to say, here at Color Class, one of the things we firmly subscribe to, this is a fact. Your best palette has to be the way you look right now. It's not what you were when you were 6 years old, what your hair color was. It's not what your hair color, what your roots are. It's not what your hair color naturally is, but you've changed it today. It is what you are today, because the clothes that you are wearing today, right in front of the mirror, are what are going to flatter you and what what will make you look good. So if you're assuming that your season is based on something that you used to be when your natural hair color was brown, or when you were 6 years old, or whatever, that isn't going to flatter you today standing in front of the mirror. And you need to look great when you walk out your front door, and not some memory of what you used to look like when you had your hair was a natural color, because those clothes aren't going to flatter you today.
Yeah, so the way that we're a little bit different from everyone else is we believe that you look best in what you want to look best in. Because I have friends, I have a very close friend, she has warm skin tone, hazel, very golden brown eyes, but she likes ash blonde, and that's the color she wants to be. And that's perfectly fine.
And
great.
It is.
And we just want to help you determine what the best color is. If you have competing factors like warm skin tone, warm eyes, but you love ash blonde hair, and we'll make it work.
That is okay, because we know how to put palettes together that will make that look amazing.
Right. So our goal here is for you to feel your best in whatever colors you want, and we will work with that. We are not here to force you to say, well, because you have a cool to neutral skin tone, cool eyes, you should dye your hair cool instead of being a natural redhead. So in my case, I would have been told that I needed to dye my hair something that
ash brown.
right, that's not natural. And that's really where our version of color analysis stemmed from, was we want you to be confident with how you are instead of having to force yourself to change to be something else. All right, so diving into the subcategories. Now, when we say diving into the subcategories, we're just going to do a quick dip into the 12 and the 16 palette. Yeah, we're not diving in, I should say.
Sticking our toe in the water.
We're just laying out a little bit. Moving to the 12 palette, it breaks down into 3 categories. The winter does. The 12 palette is deep. It is cool, or some people call it a true winter. And then we have
cool. It's easier to understand.
Right. And then we have our clear winter. Some people also call it a bright winter. So you might either hear true or cool winter, or you might hear bright, and we call it a clear winter, because this is also based off the 6 dominant characteristics. I hope this does not confuse you, but keep watching videos because you will learn everything. Yeah. Exactly. Now, starting off, let's just do deep winter, because we were talking about if you are somebody that has the warm skin tone, but you have the black hair, and you have deeper features, darker brown eyes, darker hair, darker brows. You can have full range of skin tone. It doesn't matter. But all of your colors are going to be deeper. They're not going to be the icier shades that we talked about before.
Yeah. Not a mix.
Right.
It's going to be deep, deep, and deep. Mm-hmm. And once you see all that, my skin tone is deep, my hair is deep, my eye color, it's deep. Mm-hmm. I must be a deep winter, and you will be a deep winter, and your colors will be adjusted for that. Mm-hmm. You can make one change. The one change is if you're deep and everything's going and it's deep and you have ice blue eyes.
That's going to push you into the clear winter, because now, I'm trying to think if there's any cool. No, because cools are going to be a little bit more medium tone. So everyone should pretty much shift into a clear winter. If you have like the icy colors, that brings in more contrast. So you have very high white and very low black range.
And Sarah said it perfectly, contrast, because let's say you have the black eyes, the black hair, but you have the palest possible fairest skin, fairest cool skin ever. High contrast, you're a clear, because if you've got, from the lightest light to the deepest deep, you're probably a clear. And this is going to surprise you. What counts as part of that whitest white to deepest dark color? The whites of your eyes. Mm-hmm. Let's say your skin tone is really a very cool deep brown. Mm-hmm. And your hair is a very cool deep brown. But your eyes are very attention getting. They're really they're
like illuminating.
What you see is the black iris, but you see a lot of the whites of the eye. Who is a good person to who represents this?
You were saying in another video, the woman from The Resident.
Yes.
I'm trying to
There
think.
is a doctor, a surgeon, Mina, on The Resident, who was stop laughing at me. She was such a perfect example, because you would look at her. She had a deep skin tone. Her eyes were black, really dark. But you couldn't take your eyes away from her face, because the whites of her eyes were so visible and so prominent and so obvious and so open. And that's another thing. The whites of the eye may be there and they may be very white, but if the eye is very closed, it's a toss-up whether you're a deep or a clear. They have to be very open and visible.
And then we talked about dark winter. Cool winter, you're in the medium range. That's where the cool winters lie, because we talked about deep, and then the clear winters have a lot of contrast. So they have a lot of light. Well, they have a light feature somewhere that's bringing high to low contrast. If you're a cool winter, you're kind of in that medium range.
And you're cool.
Just, right. Your
across
hair,
the board.
Your hair, your skin tone, eyes are all cool. Now, one thing we left off here, moving to the 16 palette system.
There's one more subcategory that you don't see very often in the books on the 12 palette system, or on the 16 palette system you do, because we are finding there are so many more soft winters than ever we've ever analyzed before. And the soft winter is someone with neutrality somewhere happening in all this.
We just did a color analysis. Woman had like darker gray hair, so she was deeper.
Salt and pepper, but more pepper than salt.
Right, but the thing was her eyes had warmth to them.
They were green.
Right.
And her skin tone was neutral. It was kind of between the two. And she looked good in both some warm colors and some cool colors.
Well, like warm, deeper colors that were leaning more towards neutral, but also the cool, soft colors, because she had a softness to her. She couldn't fit into the winter colors because they were too high contrast for her, because she had gray hair. She wasn't salt and pepper, but she wasn't a soft white either. She had a lot of depth to her gray.
And the neutrality, it just kept popping up everywhere. And she even said that she could wear some spring colors. Well, that kind of makes sense, because winter season, spring season, they're sisters. They're both bright.
Right.
They're both bright / clear. And winter, summer, they're sisters because they're both cool. And so, and autumn and winter, they're sister seasons because they're both deep. And basically what we found with her was that because of all that neutrality, all of the winter palette for her had to be created as soft.
Right. I mean, soft, and she also had some neutrality, some warmer colors that we were able to put in there. So when we talk about our color analysis, each color was hand selected for her.
When we do a color analysis, we don't rely on anybody's chart anywhere. All the colors are selected based on your photograph, based on the Zoom call, based on your personal...
your eyes, your hairs, your skin tone, everything is pulled from you personally. Not to throw our color analysis service in there, but just saying.
We're proud.
Yeah.
We're proud of it.
All right. Now we're back to you doing your own color analysis here, because we need to talk about if somebody is fighting between like you mentioned, spring, winter. How do they determine their best shades?
They look at some of the spring colors and they look at some of the winter colors.
Right.
And you go into a shop and you put them on, or you pull them out of your closet. But if you're kind of like
swaying back and forth,
you can't decide if you're spring or a winter, put on orange.
Like bright orange.
Bright orange or marigold. Put those on.
Oh, shine, like golden yellow, bright golden yellow.
All those bright gold orange hues. And then put on black, or put on
fuchsia,
a jewel tone. Compare the jewel tone of amethyst, purple, bold.
Like a cut ruby. I'm thinking purple because it has a little bit more neutrality, but like ruby, a
fire
blue.
engine red.
Oh, yes.
That blue red. Compare yourself in orange, fire engine red.
Yep.
And you'll know everything you need to know about whether you're spring or winter.
Because springs can wear the yellows, the orange colors that are warmer leaning, and then winters can wear the fuchsia,
the bright colors.
Right.
But
those bright
have to be cool.
Blue-based colors. So that will really help determine if you are a spring versus a winter.
Now, what if you were a winter versus a summer?
Ooh. All right. So, yeah. You're going to want to look at mid-tone shades. A muted rose, like something in between. It's not super bright, but it's also not super icy, because icy colors get tricky.
Like a mauve.
Yes.
A mauve, a reddish mauve, a rose color.
Right.
Try that next to a magenta on you.
Which one looks better?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a summer, you'll be able to wear a gray, a pale gray, versus a winter. You really would look good in black.
I am worried, though, a soft winter would still look pretty good in a muted rose.
That's why I went over to the gray and the black.
Yes, gray and black would be a really good comparison.
Because that really tells the tale. If you can wear like a 30% gray, say a lighter gray on the lighter side.
Mid-tone gray, not charcoal, not a like whitish gray. We're talking a mid-level, like the typical
30,
gray.
40%.
I'm trying to think if any of us have gray on, but
that would be good. But compare that to a black. If the black looks better on you, like if you're happier in that black, then you're probably a winter. And if you can wear pure white compared to some summers. If you look at my hair, you might say, oh, her hair's white. It's not. It's off-white. If you look carefully at it next to something that is really purely white, you'll see that my hair is not even close to being white. So I can wear an off-white well.
right.
But I don't wear pure white well because it makes my hair look yellowish, like stained, or, like it's...
You forgot to do a purple rinse on it or something.
Yeah. It just looks yellowish. So if you can wear pure white beautifully, you're probably a winter. If you need to like lean over to the off-white, you're probably a summer. And that leaves us with autumn versus winter.
So you talked about earlier, autumns and winters are sister seasons because they both have depth. So we need depth for both of them. Now, autumns. You can get away with pumpkin. Pumpkin is gonna be that shade that looks incredible on autumns. Now, winters is not going to look so great on you. Your skin tone's going to go yellow. Maybe your hair, depending on what your color of your hair is, it might just, it's not going to be perfect. Now, I want to mention, if you are able to determine cool versus warm brown, and I'll put a video because we did a whole cool versus warm brown. Some winters think they look good in browns because they might have brown eye color.
Yeah, rose brown does look great on some winters.
Right, because it's cooler. Now, if you can wear a very yellow, golden, rich brown or red.
Orangey brown.
Yes, that very autumn brown.
Deep camel.
Yes, that's an autumn color. But if you can wear like an espresso or a dark chocolate brown, that's a winter brown.
Even a hot chocolate, like that color, that cafe color, that's cooler. And probably, that might lean more towards summer.
Now, another thing that winters can wear that autumns cannot wear is white. Pure white. Winters can wear pure white. Autumns cannot wear pure white. You will go completely ghostly like me. So that's just to give you an idea. If you were like going back and forth between these two seasons, because every season has something in common, whether it's the coolness, whether it's the depth, whether it's the brightness or the clarity, they all have something in common. So
they're all sisters.
Right. It can be tricky trying to figure out between two seasons that you lean heavily towards. And that's why we do bring in other characteristics like the 6 dominant characteristics.
But just kind of the bottom line with the autumn and the winter, if you can wear soft gold, like a gold color, then you're if you're deep, you're probably in autumn. If you can't, and you need to look to, the magentas and the purples and the emerald greens and that kind of color, you're probably a winter.
Exactly. Now, I hope this video has helped. I am going to link down in the description below. I'll do 6 dominant characteristics because I do want, if you are new and just learning about the winter color analysis, check out the 6 dominant characteristics because that goes more into depth and can help you get into the 12 and 16 palette. I know that sounds crazy, But the 6 is what drives the 12 and the 16.
And we do in our own business, in our own color analysis, we do it in steps.
Yep.
We look at you in terms of the 4 seasons.
4.
Then we look at your, and that requires 2 dominant characteristics: your light versus deep profile, how
Right.
light you are versus how deep you are, and how warm you are versus how cool you are. Those are the only things we consider to get you into the 4 seasons. But when we start to break that down, we add whether you're soft or clear, and that helps us determine which one of the 12 or which one of the 16 you are.
Right.
And it even gets us past that, because what we do in terms of your hair, skin, and eyes is we give you a percentage number. It's on a slider.
Right.
And we're able to ascertain, well, she's got 65% is, deep. She's 65% deep. Well, you're over 50. That makes you deep.
I don't know why my microphone's moving. I'm so sorry. But I am going to make the disclaimer because we always get with this. We are on a wait list for our color analysis. I am very sorry. We are working as fast as we can. But if you want to get the first slots, our Patreon Hue Heroes do get released first. And then we'll eventually disperse it out based on your tier level on Patreon. And then it'll go to everyone who joined the wait list. Yes. Now, I do want to mention, if you want more color analysis, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Also here on YouTube, if you would like to help us out at all, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing.
You almost forgot it again.
Subscribing to the channel really helps us out. It gives us the ability to create more content for you. So if you want to keep hearing from us, I know some of you are probably like, please.
No more.
But for those of you that doing any of those things really helps us out. Also, hop on over to Patreon because we have a fantastic community
So much fun.
of dedicated people who love color analysis. And it is so incredible. I absolutely love it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments that you want to, requests.
Sarah just put a sweatshirt up, the other day, herself in a sweatshirt. And she said, it's new. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know what I'm going to do. And everybody was like, it's not really.
I think the verdict was to return it.
Yeah, I think she's going to have to return it.
It was a really unique color, though.
It's a beige, but
it's like a purple and gray.
It was like really, it was the most neutral of the neutral, but she was just too warm for it.
Yes, my hair color the hair color did not look good. I think if I pulled my hair back,
it was strictly the hair.
If I pulled my hair back, my skin tone and my eye color looked great, but the hair, it went so gray against the color.
Straw color.
I
Yeah,
know.
it just wasn't.
Okay.
But not to spend too much time going off topic.
Jeez. I mean, I know I looked bad, but man.
Join Patreon, and if you've got something that you're trying to decide whether you're going to keep it or send it back, we have women who are not shy about telling you if something looks good on you, and we love it.
No, everyone was very sweet in their comments.
Of course, they're really
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out. It was a tough one. But thank you, everyone on Patreon, because you did help me out, and I will go return it. All right, so thank you for joining us today. We hope you learned a little something about winters out there. And if you are a winter, don't forget to comment down below. So lastly, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
This has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.